Hragnette has been asked to review all the fishing spots in Hjaalmarch for accessibility. The Morthal City Council requested her specifically because, and I quote, "she's willing to do all the dirty jobs most Nords think are beneath them." Assisting her today will be Auri from Auri Song-of-the-Green.
I bet this area has an abundance of ghost stories.
Song-of-the-Green's quite an unusual surname for a Bosmer, but I won't deny it's a nice one. In any case, the first fishing spot in Hjaalmarch, which, if you aren't aware, is the official name for the hold Morthal's in, is right over there. And this doesn't look terrifically wheelchair accessible to me. It probably wouldn't be too hard to set up a ramp if needed. A person with limited mobility but some use of their feet should be able to get up here. The snow, combined with the lack of railings on the side, isn't ideal either. We've got a few rope railings here at least, that counts for something. And right here, the fishing supplies. The window at the end of the jetty is a bit narrow to cast a fishing line from, but as you can see, it works. And Hragnette is quite proudly in receipt of 1 pogfish. Fun! Now, according to the fishing map, there are 4 more external fishing spots in Hjaalmarch. This, of course, doesn't include the ones located in caves. The first one, I believe, is somewhere to the north of the city, along here. Past the lumber mill and the comparatively small northern northern Morthal district. Here it is. So, this fishing spot isn't too hard for an able-bodied person to reach. It's only a short walk away from Morthal, without much more danger than mud crabs and the occasional chorus and spriggan. Perhaps zombies or the occasional anything else you downloaded from Remiel mods. However, it does mean navigating hills, water and mud, away from any paved or even cobblestone roads. That won't be easy for anyone using a wheelchair or a walking stick. If you have limited mobility, I don't think it's possible to get to this fishing spot without assistance. That being said, there is this path, for want of a better word, leading from Morthal to the cursed vampire cave. It's dry-ish and probably more navigable than not having a path. So I'd say that fishing spot is viable for a day out, even if you don't have full mobility. A third fishing spot lies pretty close to the city, along this shoreline here. Getting to it, however, will prove far from simple. You can either come up and around here, up and down the stairs, or you could hop across here. But obviously, both of these options require you to be full of energy and have the use of both legs. Or perhaps all 4 legs in the case of a centaur. You could, on the other hand, come around here. After crossing the bridge, you could walk along the northern shoreline here. It is still muddy and uneven, but at least there'd be no stairs involved. Still less than ideal in terms of accessibility. but with a guide and a spare hour or two, a disabled fishing enthusiast could probably get here. A healthy adult brook bass, just what I always wanted. The remaining few fishing spots are further southwest of Morthal. The first one should be along a tributary of the river that flows into the marsh. On the map, I believe it'll be somewhere around here. Actually, I think I read somewhere it's right next to Crabber's Shanty. Now, getting out of Morthal by this road is sure to prove a little bit fraught if you have limited mobility. Fraught even without the frostbite spiders waiting to ambush you as soon as you step onto the road. If we're being honest with ourselves, the whole of Morthal isn't really wheelchair accessible. But the council did ask for a review of the fishing spots. Thank you for the venom in any case.
I'm freezing my ears off. Could we find someplace warm?
I'm not sure, but I probably can lend you a hood.
Okay.
Let's see. Fishing boots, gloves, hide boots, mage hood. Do you want a novice hood, Auri?
Fine.
There we go. We're going completely the wrong way. Crabber's Shanty and the fishing spot are this way, to the west. Actually, before we head to Crabber's Shanty, let's hit up Brood Cavern, which I believe is along here. Past this lovely little ensemble. Brood Cavern may or may not be home to several frostbite spiders, but what it is, I think we can tell, is almost completely inaccessible. Auri and Hragnette are both able-bodied.
Your nose hairs have frozen.
Yes, thanks for that insight, Auri. They're both completely able-bodied, but this slope's a bit steep even for them. This isn't Brood Cavern. Brood Cavern, if I recall correctly, is out along here and up this cliff. Yes, I think this journey's out of the question for anyone with limited mobility. Even without that, actually, not everybody is going to have the energy to hike all the way out here.
Time to die.
Time for who to die, Auri? A bear, of course.
Another thing that's quite bad from an accessibility standpoint.
This one wasn't too difficult. Hragnette has Auri for companionship and she's a... Oh, come on. Wasn't too difficult. Hragnette has Auri for backup and she's level 18, I think. But if she had, say, arthritis...
Judging from the tracks, some manner of beast lives here. Let's try not to disturb her.
Oh, do you think so, Auri? Do you think so? Stendar's tits, how can you possibly tell? Brood Cavern now. A wet cavern home to another... No, 2 more bears. Three more bears? But we haven't even touched your porridge, I swear. I think I might start taking their pelts, actually, just in case... I don't know, somebody from Dragon Bridge or wherever happened to be asking for 10 of them for some reason. Where is the fishing spot, though? That's the real question. Would you mind, Auri?
You're so noisy in that armor. Show me.
That's perfect, thank you. Anyway, the fishing spot. Where is the fishing spot? There's definitely supposed to be a fishing spot here in Brood Cavern. Not here. Is the bear on top of it, maybe? No. No. Ah, here we go. Yes, these bones represent an unfortunate tripping hazard. Definitely have to get rid of them if we want this to be an accessible fishing spot for everyone. Are there any good fish in Brood Cavern, maybe? A silver-side perch. Possibly my favourite kind of perch. On to Crabber's Shanty now, and there is, I should stress, a path running some of the way. It doesn't lead all the way back to Morthal, but it is a path, and therefore better than no path. Brood Cavern is just up there. And the shanty of Crabber's, which I believe you can see on the top bar already, is this way along the river. There's either a bear or a saber cat up there. So let's see which one. It's a bear. And Auri's trying to punch it. That's it, Auri. Punch it in the snout. Go for the snout, Auri. Go for the snout. It's sensitive. The path leads to there, so to get to Crabber's Shanty, we have to brave the uneven grassy shoreline for a bit. And then, at the very least, get across here. But with that out of the way, here's the fishing spot. And there's a dragon. Hopefully it leaves us alone. Hopefully it's just up there for a walk, or should I say, a fly. Another brook bass. Marvellous.
How's the fishing?
Quite excellent today, thank you. Now, if, say, you lived in Crabber's Shanty, or were staying here temporarily, the fishing spot would be pretty accessible. This bit is sloped, albeit quite steep, so you could get a wheelchair up and down the slope. Getting a wheelchair into and out of the shanty, however, would be a bit fraught. Not much room in the shanty anyway. The final outdoor fishing spot in Hjaalmarch should be somewhere to the northwest of Crabber's Shanty, along this other branch of the river up here. Getting to it would unfortunately mean going past Robber's Gorge. However, as I believe you can see, it is at least partially accessible by road. That steep hill would present a problem. If you were a wheelchair user, it'd be Well, if you're a wheelchair user, you could go down there extremely fast, but you need at least 2 helpers, one of whom would probably have to be a horse to get back up again. Assuming you're able to get past Robber's Gorge without dying, the road loops around here and along here. And the fishing spot should be somewhere up the river, past the, island somewhere.
Now you're mine.
We should be coming up on the fishing spot now. Apparently it's somewhere near that camp. But somewhere near is never an exact science. Evidently getting to it would require stepping off the road and somehow finding a way across the river. Again, in terms of accessibility, not great. Although, to be fair, we are currently in the middle of nowhere. Ah, here it is, right next to the camp.
The Falmer are a cruel, cruel race. Don't say I blame them, though.
Not a bad view this evening as the mud crabs and dragonflies play.
As disgusting as the Falmer are, I must admit to being impressed by how well they used to go, despite being completely blind.
And it seems we fished up a juvenile mud crab. I wonder if they're rare. I wonder if anything good's in here. I wonder if anything good's in here. This camp might not be a bad place to bed down for the night anyway. A fresh new day in the middle of nowhere. And I believe we only have one fishing spot left to find. And I believe that fishing spot's inside somewhere called Chillwind Depths. Chillwind Depths is right here, past the cave bear. Which Auri is again trying quite bravely to punch to death. Good on you, Auri. I'm really going to have to get you some more arrows one of these days.
Yes?
In fact, I am holding on to quite a few arrows I have no use for whatsoever, seeing as I use the crossbow. Here, you have your bow and arrows back, and this 517 ancient Nordic ones. Now, let's see what's inside Chillwind Depths. Mushrooms, for starters, are inside Chillwind Depths. Plenty of mushrooms. And a dead traveler. And the fishing supplies are right here. I must say, I don't know quite how many fish are going to be in this shallow little stream running through the cave, but it doesn't hurt to try. Any fish wanting to come out and play? A flagon. A flagon wants to come out and play. It looks like a healthy adult female flagon. Note the elegant spout right there, and the rakishly positioned handle right there. And of course the sturdy base to allow it to balance on any suitable table. If all we had to worry about was the cave entrance, it wouldn't be that terrible, accessibility-wise. Most people, perhaps with a bit of help, could maneuver their way down the slope. It wouldn't be too hard getting up the path outside the cave either. However, Chillwind Depths is miles away from the nearest settlement. If you had arthritis, say, or chronic fatigue syndrome, it'd be a nightmare to get this far out. So then, insofar as fishing accessibility in Morthal goes,
Why are they hurting each other?
always something, isn't there? As far as fishing accessibility in Morthal goes, I'd say it's best to focus on the fishing spots close to the city itself, and perhaps not worry so much about the distant ones. Best to focus on the fishing spots close to the city itself, meaning in this case the one over there and the one just up there. A couple of paths to them, crazy paving or wooden planks say, as long as it's smooth enough for a wheelchair to get down. Maybe the social services could do something with it, organize occasional fishing trips. For the fishing spot inside the city, replacing some of the stairs with ramps should be sufficient. It'll be easy enough for almost anyone to get up here, as long as that's taken care of. With these simple suggestions put into action, it shouldn't be too long until anybody in Morthal is able to enjoy a quiet afternoon's fishing. And help themselves to plenty of delicious, healthy brook bass.
What? I was just thinking that I like the way you wear your hair. I know. It's a little weird.
It isn't weird, it's a perfectly normal, practical hairstyle. But your appreciation is noted. Thank you, Auri.